Okay, stick blenders. I've got, I think, about 5 of them. One of the reasons that I've got so many is that I use them quite a lot with soap making workshops and so on. But the other reason was I had one and it took a lot of ownership use and eventually it started to make a funny noise. I still have it, still working. But I decided, it's time to replace this one. I'm going to end up without a stick blender very soon. And that's not going to be good for me. So I went and I bought another one. And the first one was a lovely stick blender. It worked very, very well for me. And then eventually when I bought the second one, after the first batch, second batch, I realized, you know what, there's certain things different on this one that's not working for me. I don't really like it. And I'm still, and I actually basically fell back to my old screeching and wheezing one. And then eventually I bought another one, a third one, and better than the second one that I bought, but still there was stuff that I didn't really realize that I had to look out for. So this is not a review on a stick blender or a specific brand of a stick blender. We're going to look at different parts of the stick blenders. We're going to look at the blending end. I don't know if you call it the head of the stick blender, so let's call it the head. We're going to look at the shaft and we're going to look at the motor size and a few tiny little things. But the three main things to look at is these 3 parts. Now I've got 4 different stick blenders here. This one was my first stick blender that I ever bought. This one is about 18 years old now. It had the perfect head shape. Now the reason why I say the perfect one is because it's flat here in the back and the slits are on the same level as the flat side on the blender. So what happens is it doesn't trap air inside, so it doesn't make an airlock. So if I turn it to the side, then it releases air very easily, although it doesn't even really trap any air in there. Then I wanted to replace this one for if it packs up with this one. I bought this one, and this one's got a very deep bowl here at the head side. So the other problem here is I left some soap in here to show you. It collects soap here, and it's got a little very deep slit in there at the back side. So you always have to dig out all the previous soap when you need to clean it. Nothing that you can do about that. But on the bowl's shape that was so deep, what I've done with this one, now everything is full soap here. What I've done is I drilled 2 holes on either side of the shaft. So just to release the air bubbles. You just try to show both of them at the same side. There you can see it on the camera. It's got 2 little holes that I drilled in there. I think it was 6 millimeters. So this works very nicely. The moment you put it inside the batter, it releases all the air there. So if you can't get a head shape like this, because I can't find a replacement like this, there is still stuff that you can do to make it better for yourself. These 2 as well, it's got very deep bowls here, so it traps a lot of air, especially these 2. If you put it in your batter, you have to tilt the stick blender quite a lot, and you have to actually tilt the bucket sometimes to release the air. It's difficult to show on the camera, but yeah, you have to tilt it quite a lot before it releases the air, especially this one that doesn't have any slits. This one works a little bit better, but yeah, I prefer these 2. I'm still going to drill holes in the heads here so that I can release the air there. So it's working, but you've got after sales management that you need to do there. The next thing is the shaft lengths. If you are going to make soap in a jug, then you have to actually get the stick blender quite deep in there. The surface of the soap might rise quite close to your stick blender. So a longer shaft usually works easier with that. If you work in a bowl and the surface is not, if your soap batter is not that deep, then a shorter shaft length doesn't matter. Then the other thing that we're going to look at is the motor size. Now this one is got a 200 watt motor in it. You will find it on the little sticker there. It's too small to really show on the camera, but yeah, this one is a 200 watt motor. This one's got 300 wattage. It's written on the side here, so it's easy to find there. This one is also, if you open it up, it's written here on the little sticker on the inside. This one is a 600 watt stick blender, and this one is an 800 watt stick blender. The wattage, usually it is written on the box. When you buy the stick blenders, it will be somewhere out on the side of the box written there. So the higher the wattage, the stronger the motor is. So with this 300 wattage, 600, this one is double as strong as this one, and this one is a little bit more. Now usually on your larger stick blenders, if you turn it around, you've got a little knob here on the back side where you can adjust the speed of the stick blender. Same thing on this one. It's also got a dial here that you can turn, and you can just increase and decrease the speed. The smaller stick blenders, it's just press and go. So yeah, those are the three main things to look out for. If you buy a new stick blender and you don't buy a thrift store unit, then you can just check what is the guarantee on your stick blender. Sometimes it's better to pay a little bit more for an extra year of guarantee on it. But yeah, then something else that's actually just a small thing for me is how they connect together. This one, easy to connect. You just twist and connect it. Same with this one, very easily. Although these two twist different directions to fasten and to loosen, so sometimes it confuses me and I'm trying to fasten this thing and it's actually the wrong way around. Same with this one, easy, just push and twist and then it's connected. Now this one, it's got two little buttons on the sides, and you have to press both of them simultaneously to release this head. And you really have to actually push really hard. So you have to push and pull to disconnect it. Then the other thing is I took some Q-Tex and I made marks on it, just so it's easier for me to line this thing up, because if it's misaligned, you can't connect this thing. You have to line it perfectly, and even then you have to press really hard. So I think this is the main thing that annoys me from this stick blender, because I like to blend my stuff and sometimes just disconnect it, leave this in the batter, put this aside, and then just reconnect it quickly, blend it a bit more. This one is not easy to use, so I prefer, if I could ever replace this one with the exact same one, this would be my preferred blender. 300 wattage, usually between 1 kilogram and 2 kilograms of oil mixture. Blends it very easily to thin trays, medium trays. Thick trays, it starts to work a bit hard, but it still can manage it quite well. This, if you are doing large batches, or if you really, hot process, that's more, it's a thicker consistency that you work with. With hot process, if you want to use the stick blender while it's cooking, I would say go for this, but usually we just stir it in the crock pot. We don't really use a stick blender after it came to trays. So yeah, this is the ins and outs of stick blenders. I hope this will help you to make a choice when you need to go buy a new one for yourself, and don't end up like me with 4 or 5 of them, although I do soap making workshops. So for me, I need quite a few blenders if we've got a few people working together at the same time. So I don't really mind having quite a bunch of them. Okay, thank you for your time, my friend. If this video helped you in any way, please like it, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. We've got lots of ideas for this year, tips and tricks to save you money and time in soap making, and maybe just new ideas. And then also have a look in our description. In the description there are links to Udemy courses that I do offer. These courses are aimed at the beginner that never made any soap before, as well as the intermediate soap maker that have done quite a few batches but doesn't really know how to formulate the proper recipe. So everything about formulation and everything else is in there as well. Just click on the link. It will take you to the course. There are some of the units that are open that you can view just to see if this course might be a fit for you or not. So I just want to invite you to go have a look at it, and then you must have a lovely day. Be blessed. Until next time.